Good morning. We look today at Isaiah 33 through 36. Chapter 33 starts out, "Ah, you destroyer, you who have not been destroyed, you treacherous one," and then the end of verse 1, "you will be destroyed." So, the attacking, the warring kings, those who have come against Israel, against God, will get their comeuppance. Karma will come. They will get what they've been dealing out to others. You will be dealt with treacherously, and so the powerful will be destroyed, and they will they will be gone. And there are many nations, many peoples that we read about in the Bible that we don't hear about anymore. Names have changed, and empires have fallen in many ways that way. But the Jewish people, the Israelites, the chosen ones of God, remain. Starting in verse 2 and 3 is the promise of God to the people of Israel that Zion, Jerusalem, that they will be rebuilt, that they will again find favor. And the Lord is exalted, verse 5 said. He dwells on high, he fills Zion with justice, and he will be the stability of your times. And just, so like the next several verses talk about how nice it's going to be, in the cities. And verse 14, the sinners are afraid, trembling has seized them, because who can live with this devouring fire? Who can live with the flames? And then verse 15 is the answer to that question: those who walk righteously and speak uprightly, who despise the gain, who wave away a bribe instead of taking it. Those who are honest and upright in their dealings with others, and those who have that integrity, those who have faith in God, will see all of they'll be able to live through the turmoil and the troubles, and they will again rebuild and live a good life. Your eyes will see the King in his beauty, and the land will stretch forth. And so we have again that picture of prosperity for the people. But it's one of those things that just comes and goes. It's up and down, and it just, for a little bit here things are good, and then they're bad, and then their destroyers come, and then the Israelites are again in good standing with God. And in chapter 34, starting with verse 5, this is God saying, "When my sword is drunk, its fill in the heavens, it'll descend upon the earth, upon the people I have doomed to judgment." God will come and destroy the enemy, and we're going to see more of that as we read through chapter 34. Starting at verse 8, the Lord has a day of vengeance, a year of vindication, and the streams shall be turned to pitch, her soils will sulfur, her land will become burning pitch, night and day it will not be quenched. It's just it's going to be total and utter destruction. There will be nothing left. From generation to generation, it will lie waste. And I read a deal the other day about, I don't remember even where it was for sure, but there was this methane gas, and so they lit it, and it's been burning for years. It's a continual deal, and it's a huge area that is uninhabitable. It's a big crater, and it's total devastation, and nothing more. The wild animals will live there, but not even them. The name shall be no kingdom there. Nobody can live there. Nothing is there at all, and it's it's not something that we would like. We think about. There may be a few that are around that remember the Dust Bowl days of the 20s and 30s, and I remember seeing dust blowing here just a couple of years ago, and even last spring there was dust blowing enough so that it was hard to see. But this total devastation, there's nothing, absolutely nothing growing anyplace, is something we haven't seen for quite some time. Chapter 35 Israel again will be restored. The wilderness and the dry land shall be glad. The desert shall rejoice and bloom. And when I read that, I thought about, in the desert is a dry place and it doesn't get a lot of rain. But when it rains, it can rain one afternoon and the next morning flowers have grown up and are already blooming. And this is a part of God's creation as well. This is a part of how plants and animals live in an area where it seems like nothing could be. I haven't spent really any time in the desert to know about a lot of that, but you think about these places where they have, it's super sandy soil and it doesn't hold moisture there. And when a plant grows, it just grows quickly and it's there and gone, but it's there long enough to bloom, to produce seeds for the next rain. And so the desert shall rejoice and bloom, and like the crocus it will bloom abundantly. And I've seen pictures of the desert as it blooms that way, and this is the picture of God restoring Israel. But in a way that's kind of, if it blooms like the desert, it's going to come and it's going to go again, and it does. The kingdom of Israel is there for a while and powerful for a while, and then it's gone again. But as we go into chapter 35 a little bit more, we have promise. Be strong, do not fear, in verse 4. Here is your God. He will come with vengeance, with terrible recompense. He will save you. And then we have some words again that many refer to Jesus. In the time of Jesus, the eyes of the blind will be opened, the ears of the deaf unstopped, the lame will leap like a deer, the tongues of the speechless will sing like joy. And how many miracles did Jesus do that would fulfill that? He opened the eyes of the blind. He made the deaf hear. He made the lame walk. And so that many of those do refer to God coming into the world. And it's maybe not just in the Old Testament time, but the prophecy of Jesus and Jesus coming and restoring God's love and God's grace. Verses 8 and 9 and 10 as well talk about safety and security. Number 8, a highway will be there, and it will be the holy way. The unclean will not travel on it. The sinners, those who are not saved won't be able to travel on that. No traveler, not even fools will go astray. So if you're on that holy highway, if you are one of those who is faithful to God, you're not going to lose your way to heaven. You will be there. There will be no lion there, no ravenous beast. The redeemed shall walk there, and we will be safe and secure. And it's nice to hear those words. And then again, chapter 36, Jerusalem is threatened. It says in the 14th year of King Hezekiah, now he's the king of Jerusalem, King Sennacherib of Assyria came up against all the fortified cities of Judah, and there were 46 of these fortified cities of Judah, and this king of Assyria came up and captured all of them. And then they came up to the walls of Jerusalem, and they started, you think you can stand against us? We've conquered everybody else. Eliakim, went out to speak to the commander of the army, and I think, in verse 11 he says, please speak in Aramaic, for we understand it. And Aramaic was, the language that Jesus spoke a lot, and it says here that it was the language of the business, and that everybody could use from this country to that country to another, and so we have those languages today that are the languages of business of the world. But we have the king or the leader of the army saying, you got no chance against us, and Eliakim, who had gone out to speak with this commanding general, goes back in and speaks with Hezekiah. And we end today with Hezekiah hearing the news, tearing his clothes, and tomorrow we're going to hear he talks to Isaiah. But again, so here we've seen the restoration, God leading and guiding, and then this warring army comes again, the threat, and we all have threats. We all have things that threaten our peace. It seems like every day, and it's just a reminder that to know and to trust that God is with us. And yesterday in my sermon, I talked about gratitude and being grateful, and then this morning on our Daily Bread's devotion, it talked about having the gratitude, being thankful, and to be thankful for the day that we have, for the breath that we have, and for the promise of God will help us get through anything and everything.